Good morning. Today is Monday, June 2nd, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zori and Lady Pitbull. Good morning, lady.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And you?
Awesome. I'm alright. I can't believe it's already freaking June.
I know, it's already hot here.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's like hot and humid here, getting ready to rain.
Oh.
Crazy.
Oh, man. I would love to see some rain here, but that ain't happening.
Yeah, it's like, it's bone dry in some areas and then mass flooding in others. It's crazy, man.
I know I had a friend that was, she just went and visited her, daughter down south, and she goes, it's amazing. Up here now, we are getting restricted on our water use. You know, you have to cut back. You can't be out watering your lawn and all your stuff all the time. Maybe 3 times a week and on certain days only, and for so long. Well, down south, she said it was amazing. It was like there was no shortage of water at all. She goes, man, lawns were being, in the neighborhood where her daughter lives, sprinklers were going off twice a day, watering like crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yep, and so there's that there. You guys can't be using any water over there, but here, up north, here in Michigan on Lake Superior, there's still ice as of June 1st on the lake still.
Wow.
And I think Dane, mentioned that, but like on Saturday, but let me read this thing real quick. It's real short.
Okay.
It says June 1st marks the first day of meteorological summer, but this year it also marks one of the latest days that Lake Superior recorded over 1% ice coverage. The last day of May recorded 1.92% ice coverage in Lake Superior, so long as the official recording for June 1st, which will be released on Monday, is more than 1%. Lake Superior will be setting a record. In comparison, parts of Lake Erie reached near 70 degrees this week. Ice coverage will not likely last much longer as air temperatures are warming in the northern Great Lakes. The last time ice was reported in late spring was May 29th in 2003. So, there's definitely, the lake had a freaking 98% coverage, so it's gonna take a long time. That was a natural landmass that was formed, for God's sake, so it's gonna take a long time for that to break up and finally dissipate.
You would think.
Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know, I just kind of feel like it's, I don't know.
Well, it's just like here, Mount Shasta. Okay, it's as far back as I can remember. This time of year, the mountain was covered with snow, because it's just now starting to get hot and then it would start melting. And even by the end of summer, we would still have a little bit of snow up there. Now, there's almost no snow on that mountain already.
Yeah, see, that's, well, it's, and a lot
of our water comes from that mountain because it melts and comes down and creates this, like the Sacramento River. It's a huge river by the time it gets to Redding, but it comes out at the park in Mount Shasta from under the mountain. You can see it bubbles. It comes out of the base of the mountain and forms a little pond, and then it drops off into that, and then creeks and stuff, join in and make the big Sacramento River. And it's just drizzling out this year.
Wow.
So
that's scary.
Yeah, it is, really. So I'm glad my garden's doing great, but I have mine up off the ground and in a 4x8 and 1 foot square slots, so I don't have to use a lot of water.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so.
Because like a structure like that pretty much holds its own water, right?
Well, yeah, I lined it with plastic before and rocks. Put some rocks at the bottom and then put my dirt in. And so, man, all my squash and all that's just like growing like crazy. So that's good.
Geez, you're not going to get rated for watering your garden, are you?
Well, no, because I don't use a lot of water. I go out and I water it in the morning and at night, and it doesn't take much because I'm only doing these little squares.
Mm.
You know, there's no waste going, you know, like with a sprinkler or water spreading out.
Right.
Yeah, so
that's...
I shouldn't have no problem.
Yeah, I hope they don't freak out.
Yeah, the water police, and they do now. They in Sacramento, they now have water police patrolling, and people are calling in, turning in their neighbors that are that are watering their lawns. First day, they had over 3,000 people call in.
What?
Isn't that amazing? Yep, over 3,000 people called in to report their neighbors.
Holy shit, that's really shocking. That's absolutely freaking shocking right there.
Mm-hmm. And right now they're just giving warnings. But if they get called back to a second time to any one place, they have $100 fine.
Everybody's got this mindset of, if I can't use it, they can't use it either.
Yep, that's
you know what I mean?
Too.
Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, that's going to be this country's demise right there.
Yeah, you know, and they use these little things like that to irritate people so they'll call.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's just... Oh, God, that really makes me sick. It totally makes me sick. 3,000 narcs?
Over 3,000 calls.
Shit, man.
Yeah. And then you have the neighborhood like my friend's daughter lives in where they're watering. There's automatic sprinklers are going off 2 times a day, running like 15, 20 minutes each time.
Wow. And nobody's saying anything about them, huh?
And that's in Sacramento County, too. But, you know, it's just crazy. I don't get it. I don't get people using the police. Why can't they just go over to their neighbor and say, hey, you know, there's a water shortage. Maybe a lot of people don't even know about it yet. You know, it was just declared, I think, last week. But, you know, a lot of people don't know if they're working. They don't watch the news or whatever. So why don't you just go over to your neighbor and talk to him?
Yeah, right. I mean, what the hell?
You know, yeah, people call the police.
I'm sure the local
my kid's not minding, or they call the police because, you know, somebody stepped on their yard, or, you know, people who use the police like that just make me sick to my
dog took a shit in my yard. Oh my God, I'm calling him on water use, you fuckers.
And it never ends up good when the police are involved.
Well, I'm sure the local news there is just, you know, all over this water shortage issue. So,
yeah, but I don't have a
sure
TV.
People know about it. Right, I know, but people know about it, despite, you know, whether you have a TV or not, you still know about it. So if you know about it and you don't have a TV, people know about it, and yet they still want to call in on their neighbors. It's just ridiculous, man.
Have a hotline, yeah.
A water hotline.
Yep.
God, man. Well, this is the reason why this country's gonna go to hell. Because
but you know, I was out on the lake this weekend, and it's over 150 feet down.
You mean low?
Low, yes.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah, it is way significant. You know, and that's a big, big lake, but still, yeah, that's lower than I've seen it in probably 20 years.
Yes.
And then with no snow on the mountain, you know, and then they keep letting out water out of the dam, mainly because of the salmon. They got to keep the water cold for them.
Yeah, that's right.
And all the water's going down south. And further down south, I don't think they have a water, you know, conserving water further than Sacramento, because we provide water all the way down.
Really?
Mm-hmm. My mom has no water restrictions in Riverside, you know.
Huh. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. And all the lakes that feed Southern California are low. You know, they won't panic until, you know, the water runs out. Then there'll be the panic.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. And then George Bush can start bottling all that aquifer he's sitting on in South America and selling it for more than the price of an ounce of gold.
Really? I mean, people don't realize just how much they're paying for that bottled water. Way more than they're paying for gas.
It's bullshit. I went to a freaking movie. I don't usually go to movies, but my friend had a gift certificate or whatever, so one of those gift cards. So we went to the freaking movies. And you know, one of those little bottles, the small bottles of water, they were literally charging $5 for like a small bottle of water at the theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
isn't that ridiculous?
And I'm like, dude, that's like way more than a freaking can you imagine, like, at that price, it would just be like a gallon of it at that price.
Mm-hmm.
For like, you know, like a 24-ounce bottle, and it would be freaking $50 for a gallon of it.
Yep. And you know, people pay, and a lot of that water is tap water.
Right, exactly. So you're paying, oh my god, and that's exactly what I said yesterday in the theater. I'm just like, man, you're just basically paying for tap water. And, I mean, you might as well come over to this, like, fluoride, chlorine-ridden water fountain over here and start slurping that up.
Yeah, I get all my water at my health food store. I pay 20 cents a gallon. And, you know, it's the reverse osmosis. Yeah, and then they put the minerals back into it after they purify it. And, I mean, yeah, I get my first 5 gallons free. And then, but right now they have restrictions to 5 gallons a day for everybody while the water shortage is going. But, you know, that's fine with me. But yeah.
Dude, I just got another, like, weird hit on Skype from some dude in Afghanistan.
Maybe you should go in and recheck your settings.
It's weird, dude, because, like, 2 days ago, there was I'm getting all these weird hits on my Skype, and all my Skype is, like, it's set for private.
Yeah.
And some general with the British freaking army tried to holler at me, and I'm just like going, I'm going to decline this now, thank you very much, you know? I mean, what the heck? I just don't understand, like, why this is happening, and it just now happened just while we were on. It's so bizarre.
Well, it's like I was telling you before the show with my roommate. She was messing around with her cell phone, and she just went in to check to see how many Wi-Fi was available in our area, and right there it said FBI surveillance, and it was a locked one, and she brought her phone in to me and went, look, and I went, oh my God, and it was here in the area, and then a few hours later she went in and checked and it was gone.
Yeah.
That's weird.
These bastards. I'm just getting so freaking sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
We can't look at what they're doing, all the criminal crap they're freaking doing, but yet we've got to be like we fart and it's gonna be like taxed.
Yeah. Well, you know what's scaring them is this here, Georgia woman shoots home invaders posing as police. I love this story. And it says, on May 29th, 3 people allegedly approached an East Point, Georgia apartment posing as police officers, intending to force their way inside when the woman inside the apartment shot one of the would-be invaders. According to WSB-TV, the renter cracked the door to take a look outside, and that's when police say the 3 tried to push their way inside. Police said that one of the suspects raised the handgun, but the woman fired first, grazing one attacker on the head and backside. The suspects fled, but the wounded one was apprehended. Neighbors say there have been a lot of break-ins at the apartments recently, and they are glad the renter had a gun with which to protect herself. That was it. But yeah, you know, people better put a stop to them trying to take your guns, because this kind of stuff's going to happen more and more. And the more they restrict our guns, the more it's going to happen, because the more the criminals are going to know you're defenseless.
That's right. Absolutely. This is exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They want us to be defenseless. They want us to be unhealthy. They want us to just roll over and die when they come rolling through.
Exactly.
That ain't gonna happen with a lot of us, so.
You know, the thing is, this won't make it to headline news. This won't make it into your local paper. You know, this is not going to make it into the Times or any of these bigger, or ABC or NBC, because they don't want people to know that people are defending themselves instead of being victims.
Right, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole freaking point, is to defend yourself and not be the victim. I mean, I don't know, until people start getting that, but when you got 3,000 people calling in on their neighbors, you don't have
Right.
You don't have that. Everybody's a freaking victim.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody wants compensation.
Yeah.
Everybody's freaking sue happy, you know. Oh my God, you fell on my front lawn, I'm gonna sue your ass, you know.
True too.
Jeez, it's horseshit. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, you have, did you see that, where SWAT locks down California school for 4 hours during a class-by-class weapon search?
Mm-mm.
They found a gun case, just a case, in the parking lot. So, right away, they bring in SWAT teams. You can see them gearing up out by the vehicles to go into the school. They locked the school down completely. The kids couldn't even go to the bathroom. They had to use the sink in the classroom, in darkened classrooms. And the kids, they went in and they searched all the lockers and all the backpacks, and with guns right there, you know, on these high school students. And for 4 hours, parents were in a panic. They wanted to come get their kids because their kids were texting them, and they were scared. And after 4 hours of going through everything, they never figured out who owned the gun case, which is legal, and nobody was arrested or anything, and then they left.
Yeah.
Scaring the kids half to death. I mean, these guys were fully armed. And they used their armored truck thing that they have been buying from the military or being provided with. They came in that.
Well, you gotta teach the kids how to live in a police state.
Right, how to be scared and obey and just cower down in a room.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta teach them at a young age. Otherwise they'll start thinking that they're an individual and get uppity. Gotta put the clamp down on that when they're young.
And don't try and discipline your kids. In Hawaii, a father arrested for making his son walk 1 mile home from school.
A mile? That's it?
Yep, a mile. A father was arrested when he gave his son the old school punishment of walking 1 mile home from school to think about what he had done. Robert Demond, 36, said that when he picked up his 8-year-old son from school, he refused to say why he had what he had done to earn him punishment from the teachers. I asked him, why were you in time out at A+? Desmond said, he told me, I don't know. I asked him again. He said, I don't know. He told his son, I don't know it's not an answer. You need to take responsibility for your actions. There has to be a reason that you were placed in timeout. A mile from their house, he dropped his son off and asked him to please walk home. When you walk home, you will have an answer better than I don't know. And when you do come home, you'll have to give me an answer. Okay, so Demand said the stretch of the 2-lane roadway, it's on Curio Highway, is in a safe, rural area with acre-sized agricultural lots and wide shoulders, 10 to 25 feet wide, where it's not uncommon to see people walking or riding their bikes. In many people's lives, walking gets them places. It isn't a punishment. It is a daily reality, the norm, how one gets from one place to another. When a neighbor picked up the boy and called the police, Demond was arrested at his son's school. He was charged with second-degree endangerment of the welfare of a minor. Mr. Demond pleaded no contest. The judge, Kathleen Watanabe, ruled that the punishment was old-fashioned and inappropriate. Walking was considered a punishment too severe to inflict on a child. Parents who discipline their children with walks risk criminal charges. So the man, he was ordered to take parenting classes, pay the government $200, and he is on probation for a year. If he is caught with his son walking anywhere, he risks jail time. Now, how ridiculous is that?
How old's the kid again?
8 years old. Kids go riding their bikes a mile away.
Oh my God. When I was 8 years old, I was cruising away from my house like all day long.
Right, you didn't come home till dinner time and nobody was worried. Yeah, but no, now if you walk home, then it's punishment. There's a good chance you're going to go to jail.
Oh my God. When I was 8 years old, we would hop on our horses and just go for miles all day long, riding the horses, riding them in the woods, riding them in the fields. I mean,
it's
miles
a rural area.
Away.
It's not like it's in the middle of a city.
Even if it was in the middle of a city, a mile away isn't that. I mean, it used to be that if you lived a mile from the school, you were walking, and it didn't matter if it was snow or whatever.
And
the bus didn't pick you up.
I think if you live within a mile of the school, you don't get to take a bus.
No.
Yeah, you walk.
You walk and ride your bike.
Yep. Yeah,
what the hell is the matter with everybody? Everybody's going crazy, man.
And we're allowing it to happen,
Right, that's the thing.
I mean, why didn't that guy appeal that or something, or take it to a higher judge, because he is the parent, or is the state the parent?
Unbelievable, man.
I know. And then there was another story, and this one really pissed me off. Wait, where is it? It's right. Where did I lose it? Because this old elderly man got arrested, him and his wife, for a narcotics charge because the pharmacist gave him the wrong. Here it is. Wrong prescription. And it was the pharmacist's fault, okay? But police give elderly man drug charges after pharmacy issues incorrect prescription. In Burlington, police were asked to retrieve a bottle of pills that had been incorrectly issued to an elderly patient. When the 83-year-old man asked the police to sign for the pills before leaving his home, the officer became violent and threw him to the ground and arrested him on felony charges of drug possession and theft. His 76-year-old wife also received a knee to the back as she was charged for obstructing.
Freaking believable.
Yeah, it gets better. Listen, the ordeal happened on January 8, 2013, when Robert Trapinski, 83, sent his wife Beverly to pick up a prescription for medication used to treat a chronic stomach ailment. Mr. Krespinski was under a doctor's care and had previously been prescribed different pharmaceutical drugs to relieve his symptoms, including hydrocodone for pain. However, although Trapinski's doctor had issued the prescription, he had called the pharmacy to request that it not be filled at this time, while other treatments were being explored. However, a miscommunication occurred, and the pharmacy technician did not honor the hold on the medication. So the wife went and got it, and she only had $30 with her. And so the pharmacist called the company to see if they could lower the price. So they lowered the price to $23, and the pharmacist took out 6 pills. Okay? The pharmacist did that. Well, when he got charged, it was 6 pills short, and so they charged him for theft.
Oh my God.
So the pharmacist had done that, had taken it out. And they dropped the charges against the wife finally, but not against Mr. Trapinski. Let's see what he describes what happened. He said, I said, you can have it if you sign for it. Mr. Trapinski recalled, according to the Times, not that you're not trustworthy, but it is a drug. The police sergeant, said, I don't have to sign anything. Mr. Chapernsky stated that the officer then tried to grab him, but he pulled back. The officer then grabbed me and threw me to the floor, put my arms behind my back, and arrested me. Let's see. Police charged Mr. Chapernsky with felony narcotics possession, theft of the missing pills, and resisting arrest. Beverly was charged with obstructing the police. When he went to court, they both faced legal struggles and real potential for going to jail. Robert's felony charge could easily send him to prison. Despite the ridiculousness of the situation, the charges remained in place. The pharmacy, which seemingly caused this screw-up, refused to comment when requested repeatedly by the Journal-Times. Finally, after about 5 months of stress and legal expense, the police finally dropped the charges against Beverly. However, Robert was not pardoned so easily. Facing the prospect of enduring a trial and potential imprisonment, which would be physically difficult given his medical condition, he accepted a deal. Get this, he did not do nothing, but he agreed, and they dropped it down to misdemeanors so that the felony charges against him would be dropped. Now the 83-year-old man has a criminal record of theft and resisting police. A judge ordered him to be placed on legal probation until 2015. Now if you don't have money for a good attorney, something like this, it's not even your fault, you could go to prison.
Why did he just plead not guilty?
Because he couldn't afford to go through the whole, he has a medical condition for one thing. And he's pretty ill. He couldn't even go to the pharmacy and pick up his own prescription. His wife had to do it. So on top of all that, the stress of looking at maybe a prison term, I'm sure the DA scared the shit out of him, tell him, you could face 5 years in prison if you don't agree to this deal. They do it all the time.
Oh, I know. They do it all the time. Yep.
Right. So, an 83-year-old man, come on, people. And this is just one instance. And it wasn't even his fault. It was all on the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when she went to pick it up, she only expected to pick up one prescription, but they go, no, you have 2 here.
That's weird.
Yeah, they don't nothing is taken on an individual basis. It's the rule of law no matter what the circumstances.
Well, I don't know why the hell they didn't call that, the pharmacist to tell the DA. They should have put in a phone call and, straighten this crap out. I mean, I don't understand why that didn't happen.
Right. Because the DA, all they want is conviction so they can move up the ladder.
Well,
they aren't going to investigate or whatever. You got these charges, so they don't care about the circumstance. You're charged with this. You must have done it.
Well, it just seems like the wife should have gone back to the freaking pharmacy and say, look, you call this son of a bitch right here and you better straighten this out because we're getting charged.
Yeah, well, it's 5 months of, I guess, going to court and all.
It just makes no freaking sense. People...
And they probably also, I would bet anything that they said, well, we'll drop charges against your wife if if you admit guilt to this.
Well, sure. I mean, that's how they freaking operate. They're, it's nothing but blackmail city. I mean, that's what the court systems have been whittled down to, is nothing but blackmail.
Yep, it is. And all they care about is conviction rate so they can move up the ladder. DAs don't care as long as they get a conviction rate. Well, and they scare people and they threaten people, and that's why they have a 99% conviction rate.
Well, if you're a corporation or a politician, sure, then, they look the other way and sweep it under the rug.
Or, they have money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But there is good news on the horizon. I hear that. I love the good news. House bans DEA from attacking medical marijuana facilities. Because the state says it's legal, then the feds come in and say it's illegal. Well, the House of Representatives passed it 219 to 189 in favor of the amendment. that, if signed into law, will prevent the DEA from using federal funds to go after medical marijuana patients and providers in jurisdictions where state law says pot can legally be prescribed in certain cases. So that's a big plus on our side now, but it has to pass the Senate. But there's a good chance it will. People are just sick of being legal and being a criminal at the same time.
Right.
So, but now in California, I mean, we have one dispensary now when we used to have 4. But it'll stop the DEA from coming in with guns and, into places that are legal business.
Is it really going to stop them? I mean, they don't pay attention to laws or anything like that. They're not going to stop doing this shit. Well, they're not going to. I don't care. I don't care if Obama himself came down and said, "No, DEA, you will not do this anymore." They're like addicted to raids and shit. You know what I mean? They're not gonna stop. I just don't think it's gonna hold water with these.
Well, they'd be sued too much, and they wouldn't be able to get all their goodies if they did do it, because people would get it back because they did it illegally. But the thing is, because this is Congress passing it, this isn't a state Congress. The state representatives. This is in Congress. But the thing is, what will they go for next if they can't get all their forfeitures this way? Then what other thing are they going to start attacking?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. They're going to just move on to something else, something more benign, actually, like water. Yep,
or food. Like and they all have guns now. Department of Agriculture, they're all armed. The BLM are all armed.
That's right.
Yeah.
They'll come after us for something. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for a reason.
Yeah. And then I found out that the FBI is now investigating all the supporters who have gone out to support the Bundys.
Gee, how did you just now find that out? We were telling you that before you even went.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's official that they have started an investigation. Not on the BLM. But on the people that went out to support them.
That was like I think that was released while you were there.
Oh, okay, because I didn't have any communication when I was there. Huh, I didn't know that. I just went, wow, okay. And then we see the FBI surveillance thing in her Wi-Fi on her phone. I just thought, shit, and she goes, you're a terrorist. And I went, I know, but you live with me.
Right. I mean, that's the reason. They're now going to watch you and your mother and daughter. And
they'll get awfully bored.
This is exactly what they do. Believe me, I've been through it before with them.
Yeah.
I know how they operate.
Well, I don't care. I'm not afraid. They're not going to stop me from doing whatever I think I need to do.
Yeah, well, there is nothing to be afraid of. Absolutely not.
Nope, I didn't do anything wrong, so, you prove I did something wrong before. But if I really sat down and thought about it, I would probably get a little anxious, but, I've always said, I'm gonna do what I think is right, and I don't care, and I'll try not to break any laws while doing it, but, you gotta stand up. You have to. Can't sit around and bitch and expect everyone else to stand up if you're not willing to stand up. So.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to call on your neighbor for something as stupid as like a water infraction, then, this country is going to hell.
Yeah, and it's all anonymous. I don't know if they're giving rewards or not, but I don't know. And then if they get called out a second time to your house, it's $100 fine. And then each time thereafter, it's from what I gather.
Nothing like revenue generation. You there? Hello? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Wow, I lost you there for a minute.
That was weird.
Yeah. Okay, we're still on air, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Let me just check.
Mine just went dead, and then it dialed back up.
Ooh, that's
yeah,
weird.
we're just still on.
Okay.
Maybe they didn't like what we were talking about.
They never like what we're talking about.
That's true, but they shouldn't be acting like little idiots out there.
That's funny. That's exactly what we're dealing with here. Little pea-sized brains that think that they process things and that they've got a God complex and that they're going to come and save the country from terrorists like us.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we admit it.
Yeah.
No, we don't do anything that they don't care. They're just going to find some way, somehow to get you in their system and subjugate you and put you in prison or put you in jail or get something on your record so that they will come and use it against you in the future.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Like that little old man did not do a single thing, and the guilty party was right. The doctor called and told him not to give it to him, but yet the little old man, they wouldn't even drop charges. That's what gets me.
Yup, it's not cool. And
you wonder if they even got in contact with the pharmacy. I mean, that would have straightened the whole thing up.
I know, obviously they didn't. That's what I was saying earlier. If I was the wife, I would have went straight to that pharmacist and said, you better make some frickin' phone calls right now, dude.
Right. I mean, they went against doctor's orders. I mean, the pharmacist should be in jail, if anyone.
Yeah, or charged at least. But, hey, they're gonna get away with it, and the people that,
well, you can't slow them down from drugging the country,
Right.
They have to be there to give out those SSRIs and stuff.
Yeah, and hardcore, they were talking about Oxycontin in that story. That's freaking oxycodone?
No, not oxycodone. It was, hydrocodone. Something codeine.
Yeah, that's oxycodone.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't do any of those, so I don't pay that much attention.
Yeah.
But, still, yeah.
Old man that's on oxys, you know what I mean? It's hardcore. People are in pain.
Well, just imagine he must have quite a condition, medical condition, and for a cop to be throwing him to the ground and handcuffing him and, yeah.
That makes me sick. Totally makes me sick. Yet, Obama keeps breaking the laws of this country, and he's, getting away scot-free with it.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, over the weekend, they did this, they did a swap, they released 5 Taliban, high-level Taliban guys from Gitmo in exchange for 1 U.S. soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about that?
I read the headlines. I didn't read the story.
Well, it pisses me off because, there's people that are being held in Guantanamo Bay right now that are like innocent goat herders. You know what I mean? And it's the same damn situation as this people calling on their neighbors because of the water. Well, when we first went into Afghanistan, people were calling in on their neighbors as terrorists because they were getting reward money for it.
Exactly.
And so that's how Gitmo got stocked with prisoners, was for the very same premises.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've released 5 of the most dangerous guys. Oh, really? You don't think that was on purpose?
Yeah, right.
These particular 5 individuals, and I want to read it because there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye as usual. And it, it just keeps going and going and going. It says out of Washington, top Obama administration officials pushed back on Sunday against Republican criticism that a deal freeing the last American-held prisoner in Afghanistan could allow dangerous Taliban leaders to return to the fight, might encourage terrorist groups to seize American hostages and possibly violated a law requiring notification of Congress. Bingo, right there. So they didn't even get congressional approval, and I thought that this whole freaking time that the United States doesn't negotiate with terrorists, but what they're saying is it wasn't a terrorist negotiation, it was a prisoner exchange, you know? I mean, so if they didn't have any negotiation tactics to begin with this prisoner exchange, I mean, who were they? You know what I mean? I hate this Orwellian doublespeak that goes on up in Washington. With everything these bastards do, it's just this doublespeak crap. So, Here we go. Susan E. Rice, the President's National Security Advisor, spoke a day after years of fitful negotiations. What did I just say? They're negotiating with terrorists. Had finally yielded the release in Afghanistan of the prisoner, Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. The deal brokered, here we go. The deal brokered with Qatari help also freed 5 high-level Taliban members from the prison camp at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So yeah, they were brokering a frickin' deal. Hello? That's negotiating with terrorists, I thought.
They should be put in prison.
Exactly. But the thing is they did it all without congressional approval, and here's another gate. What do we call this? Swap gate? I mean, what the hell?
Well, we know that Obama doesn't have to follow the law. You know?
That's right. It says the release of Taliban officials was sharply assailed by Republicans, including Representative Mark Rogers of Michigan. He's a chump. Chairman of Intelligence Committee, as a dangerous transgression of long-standing policy against negotiating with terror groups. Really? If you negotiate here, you've sent a message to every Al-Qaeda group in the world, by the way, some who are holding U.S. hostages today, that there is some value now in that hostage in a way they didn't have before, Mr. Rogers said to the CNN program State of the Union. He added, that is dangerous. Really? You think so? But Ms. Rice said, Sergeant Bergdahl wasn't simply a hostage. He was an American prisoner of war captured on the battlefield. We have a sacred obligation that we have upheld since the founding of our republic to do our utmost to bring our men and women back who are taken in battle, and we did this in this instance. She was speaking on the ABC program this week. Senator John McCain, Arizona Republican, who himself was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 6 years, my ass, welcomed the return to American custody of Sergeant Bergdahl, who spent 5 years in the Taliban hands in conditions that remain unclear. But Mr. McCain said he had serious concerns about the release of 5 Taliban detainees, calling them the hardest of the hardcore. He added, it is disturbing that these individuals would have the ability to re-enter the fight. They are big, high-level people, and possibly responsible for the deaths of thousands of Shiite Muslims in Afghanistan. Yeah, well, Mr. McCain's a frickin' moron wanker.
He's a warmonger. Anyway.
Stand that fucker.
I know.
Alright, Ms. Rice, appearing separately on CNN, noted that President Obama had received very specific assurances regarding the handling of the free detainees when he spoke on the phone on Tuesday to the Emir of Qatar. That country is taking in the 5. So they're going to Qatar. These 5 guys. They enable us to have confidence that these prisoners will be carefully watched and their ability to move will be constrained. Yeah, right. And we believe that this is in the interest of national security of the United States. And she said, it's in the interest of the national security. Sure, they want these guys out there. They want an excuse for an attack so they can come in and put down martial law on the country. So, yeah, they're going to release as many of these kind of people as possible.
Well, and we're getting ready to pull out over there, you know, so there'll be a reason to stay because there's all these dangerous terrorists out there now.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's right. They announced like that they're keeping 98,000 still in there.
Right, but that's pulling out, yeah.
Yeah, that's quote unquote pulling out, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they've got to have a reason. Says Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel said while visiting troops in Afghanistan on Sunday, oh really? That he would not have agreed to the detainees' release unless suitable security arrangements were in place. Asked whether the sergeant, who by some reports was captured after leaving his base without authorization, might be subject to military discipline, Mr. Hagel replied, "This is a guy who probably went through hell for the last 5 years, and let's focus on him getting well." Oh, sure. Like you really care about this dude. Mm-hmm. Republican lawmakers also questioned the failure of the administration to give Congress the required notice of releases from Guantanamo. Yeah, see, hello, that is like the biggest thing. Obama is just acting without any congressional approval of anything he does. He just thinks that he is God, and he will go in with a swipe of his magic pen and just release 5 dangerous guys that have been...
He's not restricted by laws at all.
No, he's writing the laws with his magic pen is what he's rewriting them as he goes along. Let's see, Ms. Rice said the administration had felt compelled to move swiftly because Sergeant Bergdahl's health seemed at risk and the opportunity to retrieve him possibly fleeting. We had reason to be concerned that this was urgent and acute situation. She said on ABC, adding that had we waited and lost him, I don't think anybody would have forgiven the United States government. So they just need an excuse to act without Congress in every situation that comes before them.
Everything's urgent.
Everything's so urgent and in the interest of national security.
I mean, he was there 5 years. Why all of a sudden, this...
Yeah, suddenly, yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point that I'm questioning right there. It's so urgent suddenly that they have to work without congressional approval, make these big decisions, and do it fast, because, there's some kind of other agenda at foot here.
Yeah. Oh, and did you see, too, the resignations over the weekend? The guy in charge of the VA scan,
Oh, yeah.
But why isn't he going to jail? Why isn't he being charged? He just gets to resign and everything's fine?
Well, yeah, that's how they do it. I mean, Jay Carney jumped ship, too.
Yep.
Bastard. Mouthpiece.
I mean, he's probably saying, "How I can't cover for him anymore."
Yeah,
I mean,
sit there and lie for so many years. It gets to you, I mean, it eventually will. It's just, unless you're totally, completely, just screwed to the bone, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, that one, for him to be able to resign, latest counts, 23 vets have died while being put on that waiting list, and yet he just gets to resign, probably get his full pension and all, and that's it.
There's more than 23. I mean,
well, yeah, that's just the count, legal count.
If you, take it across the country, I'm sure in upwards of much more than that. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more. But right now, the what they're saying provable. Even if it was one vet, why that man should not be able just to resign and then just go on his merry way.
Actually, he was a very outspoken opponent of the wars that we got into in Afghanistan and Iraq. He was a very, very outspoken opponent against the wars. So,
but then to do this,
well, yeah, I mean, it's
just to make your numbers look good on your reports. People die.
Sure. Well, absolutely. This is the cannon fodder that is the American people.
Yeah.
And the buck isn't going to stop with Obama. The buck needs to stop right there, but it's not. He'll burn all of his underlings, and then he'll, go away scot-free and be able to retire with Secret Service in a couple of years.
Yeah, and it just irritates me that, they do that, and they don't go to jail, they don't, and so he opposed the war. Then how could he do something like this, put it into motion, and he said he was guilty of doing it, but he doesn't get charged. Nobody ever gets charged. Nobody ever gets put in prison for killing, and then they're so gung-ho with, support our vets,
Do that in the public face.
And so now they just put another patsy in there that'll probably continue doing it.
Sure.
And it's not even in the news now. I mean, now that the guy resigned, well, that resolved that problem.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Wash their hands of that little subject. Yeah. And then something else will happen, and then they'll, it'll be really, really bad, and then they'll wash their hands of that and throw that under the rug. Man, the rug is, it's the size of a freaking mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. And they just keep breaking the law. But if you break the law or so much as sneeze or spit on the sidewalk, you're going to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They jail in England for spitting on the sidewalk.
Well, I think you can too here. I think it is a law in some places where you can't spit on the sidewalk. It's an old law that usually isn't enforced, but if they were desperate, they would probably use it.
Sure.
Yeah. Here's another one. Now, I didn't know this could get you out of testifying in court, but it says, squirming John Kerry excused from testifying on Benghazi terror attack.
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought this one up. Good, yeah. Good. Go for it.
House Oversight Chairman Darrell Issa released the Secretary of State from a subpoena to testify before a committee investigating the 2012 attack in Benghazi, Libya, alleging Kerry was attempting to distract from the panel's work. Republican Isaiah said Kerry agreed to appear before the Oversight and Government Reform Panel on June 12th as a means to avoid testifying before a later scheduled select committee panel. The congressional committees have been called to investigate the September 11th, 2012 attack on the U.S. diplomatic mission, which led to the death of 4 Americans, including U.S. Ambassador to Libya, J. Christopher Stevens. Isaiah said he was forced to release Kerry from testifying. It's been disappointing to watch a long-serving former senator like Secretary Kerry squirm his way to what I'm doing today, releasing him from the upcoming hearing committee he made only after we issued him a subpoena, Isaiah said in a statement. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Republicans were anxious to label the event a terrorist attack with possible connections to Al-Qaeda, while the Obama administration explained the assault as a spontaneous reaction to an anti-Islam film, Innocence of Muslims, which cast the Prophet Muhammad in an unfavorable light. However, the day after the attack, Barack Obama told reporters at the White House that Benghazi was an act of terror. Republicans believe that President Barack Obama's administration hushed up details of Benghazi tragedy to protect his re-election campaign. Democrats accuse the Republicans of spinning the investigation to score political points ahead of the November midterm elections. Isn't that weird? It doesn't matter that the Americans died there. It doesn't matter that they told the troops to stand down and not go protect them. The only thing that matters is the election.
Right, and how can the Democrats say something evil against the Republicans and vice versa? And it
right, they make it not even about that at all. It all comes down to Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, it's bullshit. What about criminals? What about this? This is the Benghazi gate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm always seeing all these gates because that's what they are, and they keep adding up and adding up and adding up, and Obama's still sitting on that throne. I mean, I think JJ was saying that yesterday. You know, we don't want to necessarily impeach him because what are we going to get? Joe bite me? I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. I'd rather have bite me than Obama. I really would, because anyone, I don't care who, even, you know, just to get that man, cause, well then too, he's just doing what his handlers, you know, tell him to do, but still, I mean, look at this. What do you have to do to get impeached now? I mean, he makes Nixon look like an angel.
Oh hell yeah, definitely.
And look, they took Clinton. They were trying to impeach Clinton over, you know, having sex or not having sex, getting a blowjob from one of his aides. You know, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. It's this is the par for the course now. The more we accept this crap, the more it's going to happen, and the more it's going to increase. And you know, basically, the more they're going to be able to get away with it because no one's standing up. Everybody's paying $5 a gallon for gas now, and you know what I mean? Everybody's struggling out here. Oh, what can we do? What can we do? You know what I mean? But they're going to,
and then they don't want to do nothing.
They're going to keep on getting away with all this stuff.
Well, all these things, I think, are just small little tests to see how far, because people can only do to you what you allow them to do, as much as you allow them to do. So they keep throwing out little tests and and like the gas prices, they'll go up and then they'll go down, but not as far as they were. And then they'll give a little time and then they'll go up higher, and people still continue to buy their gas, so why wouldn't they continue doing that? It's all of this is a test to see how far they can push us.
It's a litmus test, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And it's not looking good for our side.
No. Keep going with that, because Kerry is like, he's a skull and bones man.
He's ugly too, you know.
He's an ugly wanker. I can't stand that son of a bitch. You know, and he's just, you know, Isa just, you know, lets him off scot-free. Okay, well, you know, you don't really have to testify. I mean, he testified over here, so, well, we'll let you go over here. You know what I mean?
So he agreed to testify, and then the White House didn't want him to testify. I'll go on with this.
Yeah.
In attempting to cover up documents like the September 14th email from Deputy National Security Advisor Ben Rhodes, President Obama, Secretary Kerry, and other officials have no one but themselves to blame for the increased scrutiny they should soon expect, Isa said. The Republican from California had twice subpoenaed Kerry to testify about emails and other files that the Obama administration had released to congressional investigators. Kerry told the Oversight Committee he would be willing to testify in June, and Isa agreed. Later, White House officials explained that if Kerry testified before the House Oversight Committee, there would be no need for him to appear before the Select Committee, which promises to be a more active investigation into the actions of the Obama administration before, during, and after Benghazi attack. While Speaker John Boehner and I had both originally concluded that Secretary Kerry needed to promptly testify and explain why his department had withheld subpoenaed documents, neither of us immediately recognized how opponents of congressional oversight would use this as an opportunity to distract from the Select Committee's effort, Isa said. They're just playing games with them.
Yeah.
You know, Yeah. ISA expressed frustration with Obama officials, charging them with attempting to distract from the investigative work of the committee. Seeing Secretary Kerry and others who have worked to obstruct critical oversight of Congress's investigation into Benghazi attempt to use the upcoming June 12th hearing as a shield against the Select Committee tells me it's time to reassess, ISA said. ISA seemed ready to pass the baton to the Select Committee headed by Representative Trey Gowdy, Republican of South Carolina, which was opened following the investigative work of the oversight panel. No matter how long the investigation of a terrorist attack that killed 4 Americans takes, getting the full truth is what matters, he said. The Select Committee is the House of Representatives' commitment to getting the truth. It will conduct its investigation in the face of all hands-on-deck effort by defenders of the principal actors to further obscure facts. I mean, this is just more doublespeak.
More whitewash.
Yep. They say they're gonna dig deep and all, but then Obama has to do is say, no, I'm not gonna let you, question.
Move forward. Right.
People. Yeah.
Exactly. You're not going any further. Let's just sweep this one under the rug too. But they all have to, like ISA has to come up with a front. Put up a front, the puppet show, dog and pony. They've got to do that, or, I don't know. I wonder what would happen if they just didn't do anything about it at all. I bet you the American people wouldn't give 2 shits.
No, they wouldn't. They aren't even paying attention to this,
Yeah.
And yet they could put an 83-year-old man that was innocent in jail, but these guys get people killed, and they just go along their merry way.
Well, not only did they get people killed, they were freaking running guns to to Al-Qaeda, and that's what this whole damn thing's about. And, yes, it gets...
Now, well, everyone knows there's no real Al-Qaeda. It's all, Blackwater and
Yup. CIA.
Right.
That's what it is.
I mean, they created Al-Qaeda. I mean, that's a fact. It's been proven.
That's right.
Back when they went with Bin Laden against Russia, I don't remember what year it was.
Yeah.
But and everything is terrorist. Everyone is a terrorist. I'm surprised they didn't get that little old man for being a terrorist.
Well, hang on. He was a terrorist, damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, why did they arrest him? Why? Because he was a terrorist. Domestic terrorist.
He had medication that the government hadn't approved.
That's right. That makes you a domestic terrorist. You're damn right it does. I mean, the designations are not that far off. They're already starting to call us this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it doesn't matter. If you live in America, you're a domestic terrorist. I don't care if you say or think you have got nothing to hide from these people. They're gonna find a way to make you that designation.
I mean, look at Senator Reid. For him to get up and call the people out at the Bundy Ranch terrorists when this man is so corrupt.
And that's not the first time we've heard that come out of one of these bastards' mouths about domestic terrorists either. Oh no,
they use it every chance they get.
Sure. Absolutely.
And then, they have all these people that think, wow, if you're out there talking against the government, wow, you must be in a cell. You must be a terrorist. I better get on that hotline and call and tell them that I heard what you said.
That's right. Home Jim in the chat room said CIA created the Mujahideen, and that's exactly what happened in Afghanistan when they were at war with Russia. So that's exactly when all that took place.
Right, and look at where we are now.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Home Jim.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's overwhelming, and then it's just dumbfounded. That's right.
Absolutely.
Dumbfounded is how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Is there still more of that story?
That was it. That was the end of that one.
Yeah, and it will be the end of it too.
All
this postulation and all this, but then in the end, what does it matter?
Yeah, it'll go away. You know, nothing's going to result from this investigation.
Well, that's what Hillary said. What does it matter?
Yeah, what's it matter? They're dead, they're gone, so let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. I've got a freaking presidential campaign to run.
Yeah.
You know, that's, just drives me crazy. And so they'll just keep getting away with it, and, you know, she was the head of it, and she'll be elected president. So you pull this crap, what do? You get promoted. You get awarded with, giant contracts from the corporations. And, oh man. It's,
just try and get the truth out about any of these guys, you know, then you'll be, you know, a terrorist and they can come take you away and...
Well, yeah, you had the FBI, like, in your...
in our neighborhood.
In your system, in your phone or whatever. I mean, that's what happens. So
I lost Wi-Fi. So, you know... I mean, it freaked her out, and she came in and showed me, and I went, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, and then a few hours later, it's gone, so I don't know if one of their vans was passing by or what.
I'm sure they were. I'm sure you're being watched.
Well, good luck to them.
That's what they do. They get in their personal cars, and they go on, you know, recon visits to your home. And to your neighbor's home, and to your family, and to your immediate friend circle.
I'm a scary person here.
Everybody. Yeah. I mean,
I guess I am a threat. If an 83-year-old man is a threat, you know,
that's
I'm
right.
a threat.
There you go. And the very threat is thinking.
Yeah.
If you were thinking.
I had another, my friend, Leanne calls me and goes, okay, we got another hospital call. My, best friend's son is in the hospital. He's, 19 with, colonitis.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went, no. But I went up there, I just threw a hat on because I had been working out in the garden, and I threw on This Girl Shoots Straight. I'm in the elevator going up, and this older gentleman, he goes, you like guns? And I went, yeah. And he goes, yay! He puts both thumbs up. Me too! I'm never gonna get my guns. And I went,
right on, dude. That's great. I love that stuff.
Oh, I know. You know, I get a lot of comments because I have, you know, that one, and I have one that says girls like guns too.
Oh, I've got that shirt.
Yeah, these are hats, but, you know, I buy them at the Tea Party, and then that one, that This Girl Shoots Straight, and I get more comments from it. It's just great.
I've got one with, the target of the outline, the head, the torso of the lines that the cops use.
Uh-huh.
That on a t-shirt, and it says, of course I shoot like a girl. And it's one's in his head and one's in his crotch. I
like that one.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. But hey, you know, I don't know. People, when I'm like in town, like at the post office, or at the bank, or at the bakery, or at the gas station, I'm hearing people whisper in and amongst themselves about this stuff. You hear it in low whispers. People are talking about it just everywhere I go, especially in this little town. Now, if I go to some place like Ann Arbor or something like that, in Obama's town, you know, the People's Republic of Ann Arbor is what is typically called in our circles, then you don't hear none of that stuff. But here in small little towns here, there's definitely whispers. Every time I go out, I hear somebody talking about something. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's good to see that. I think.
Yeah, here it's across the Republicans, Democrats, they don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, they're all talking about it, and they're all seeing people getting sick. More and more. The hospitals, man, they are so short on staff because there are so many people coming in sick. I mean, I've spent more time in hospitals in the last 3 weeks than I have in years, and they just can't keep up.
Wow.
You know? And I mean, emergency rooms are always kind of busy, but this is ridiculous. They have people in gurneys down the hallway. People are waiting hours upon hours just to be seen.
Yeah.
And
I'll never work in another hospital again. This is, I don't know, it's gone way, way, way over the pale. And, and the reason why there's people out there in gurneys and waiting around now is because of Obamacare.
Yep.
That wasn't like that just before that kicked in.
No. And then people are being refused treatment.
Yes.
Over and over and over. Because, all of a sudden they go in and then they find out their insurance has been canceled. They don't even know, some of them, when they get in there.
Sure. They keep paying on their bills for their insurance, but yet, oh look, you were canceled. But hey, I paid those bills. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
And like Cody was saying, this is going to ruin my credit. I'm 19 years old, and I've already got $15,000 of medical bills, and I'm not even through here.
Well, that is the plan. You should have told them that's the plan, dude. He knows. Everybody, this is how they're going after the wealth. It's the final knife in the gut of America. They're gonna drain the rest of the wealth through the healthcare system.
Yeah, and Agenda 21 is starting to hit here pretty hard. And you know what it is? They want everybody into the cities. They want all the people in the cities and try and force people out of rural areas. And it's not looking good.
That's right. Joe said in the chat room they're doing all this so Monsanto can sell more Roundup.
Well, yeah.
And that's true because they want to keep us sick so that we keep going back for problems, through the health system. And then, oh look, a friend of mine just told me yesterday, and she's, on every single, type of, she's on Social Security, food stamps, blah, blah, blah. She's totally within that spider web. She said that, now she can't, if she wants more time, more than 15 minutes of a doctor's appointment with her doctor, then she has to wait 6 months in order to get an appointment longer than 15 minutes with her doc.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just like going, wow, welcome to Obamacare.
And doctors are leaving the profession in droves.
Right. Exactly. So now, all you people that have Medicaid and Medicare, if you don't get all your symptoms out within 15 minutes, then you're out of luck.
And nurses too are leaving the profession because they're forcing them to get those flu shots.
Oh yeah, that's why I will not work in a hospital again. That is my chief reason for not working in a hospital. I mean, I did work in the hospital. I had to get. I didn't know any better at the time, or I would have lost my job. And they, even the TB test that they give you, it makes your skin like, if you're positive, it bubbles, your skin bubbles up. It's just in a reaction to this test. So. Yeah,
I remember that when I was a kid. I got that.
And they just, they're pumping all kinds of vaccines and everything. My mom works in a hospital, and she's just sick all the time. And it's from the vaccines as well, because that attacks your immune system. That's what they're designed to do. And then, if you work in the healthcare system, you're going to get everything in sight that's in there. I mean, I've never been so sick as when I worked in the children's hospital. Never, ever in my life have I been so sick, like repeatedly. With various things, flu, the stomach flus that went around in there. I mean, it was just so terrible. Now, this last winter was the hardest winter, the most snowfall that this area has seen in history. I did not get sick one time. Not once did I have the flu. I didn't have any sniffles, and I didn't get vaccinated. I didn't get my flu shot,
And you started eating right and take care of your body. See that it does make a difference in what you eat, and if you get that exercise, you've got to give your body tools,
right,
to stay healthy.
And to fight this crap off. You gotta, just have to.
And it's true, organic food is more expensive, but you'll find you eat less when your body gets what it requires.
That's correct. Absolutely.
And anymore, it's not that much more expensive. I've gone to the market here because everyone keeps going, it's so expensive. So I went down and I priced a lot of the stuff here. It's about the same in the health food store now.
Yeah, that's because of the demand so great. But unfortunately, every single food item in this country is going up. I saw that headline that the World Bank is issuing a world food crisis.
Because of the high prices in food. And every time you go to the store, it's higher.
Now, if that's not a freaking globalist threat,
yeah,
I don't know what is. They're threatening us. That is a threat. And I always hear, when I say that crap, I always hear Beavis's voice in my head, or he's going, "Are you threatening me?" You know?
Yeah, well, it's just like this one gentleman at in Bunkerville at the town hall meeting said, he goes, beware, people, because next they're coming after the water. They are going to tell you when you can water, what you can grow, what you can sell, what you can buy, and food. And you know what? It's happening. And that was only a few weeks ago that this man made that speech.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. And
they've already cut water off to the farmers down there that provides food for over half of this country.
They will control us with the food and water. This is where it's headed. And a lot of people are going to die.
Get busy canning, people, and drying food out and storing up your water, because it's going to get real scary here.
What we're kind of doing, or some can't even see where, what some people are doing around here is they're making up these little, they got the food saver bags, and they're putting like ramen noodles and all kinds of.
That's better than nothing,
Yeah, ramen noodles and a little knife and fork plastic set, and like a few other, like a cookie and some candies, and stuff to keep your sugar level up. Little tiny MREs like that they're gonna pass out when the time comes.
Right.
When people are like saying, my God, I'm starving, you've got something to hand out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
why I'm gonna be canning here again pretty soon. I mean, I'm gonna can everything out of my garden this year. And, push comes to shove, and get your crackers in it. You can even can up your crackers and things like that. Anything that's going to sustain you. Right now you have the opportunity of getting some whole foods canned, and your fruits and your vegetables and meat if you eat meat. But, even if you only can 3 jars at a time, you don't have to can, 20 jars of something. You can, every chance you get, a little extra money, you buy whatever you can and get it canned.
Right. Let's see. Captain Gringo in the chat room wants to know how many nurses get staph infections. An awful lot. You know what I mean? I got a staph infection when I was working at the hospital, but I fell down. I fell down on a cement step outside of my house. I was living in an apartment complex or whatever, and I fell, and I went to work that day probably, and sure enough, this sucker got like huge on my shin, and it got a little staph infection on it, and I didn't even hurt. That injury didn't even occur in the hospital. It occurred outside. But then when I went to work,
open wound when you went in,
it was an open wound, man. And it certainly, I mean, it happened to me even.
Well, it used to be staph was just known for happening in hospitals after surgeries and stuff. But now it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. It's and if you get, there's going into, if you get hurt out here and then you go into the hospital for any kind of a treatment, you are more likely to get, an infection in that freaking hospital from, whatever, their surrounding area.
Than when you went in.
Yeah, that's what happens all the time. It's really, really nuts.
That's why you want to get released as soon as possible. Like Cody, we don't want him in there very long, and they're pumping him full of antibiotics. Mm-hmm. But, and until he can't hold down anything right now.
Oh, that's a little thing.
Yeah, but I'm going to take some silver up today and give him, and that'll help kill that infection too.
Good.
Because it doesn't react with anything. I mean, the antibiotics they're giving him, it won't hurt him. Mm-mm. So I'm going up to give him some today. Get him out of there.
He'll probably get better in the next couple of days, when it was the silver that did it, not their antibiotics. And they'll think, oh, look, the antibiotics worked.
Oh, yeah, whenever he gets a cold or anything, he comes over to Dr. Doty. I need silver. Him and his dad both. I mean, his dad was in the hospital last year. And with an infection, they didn't know what it was up in Mount Shasta. And they just didn't know. They were running tests and stuff. And I went up there and he was in bad shape. And I gave him a double dose of 500 parts per million silver. And I gave him some fresh oranges and stuff. And within 2 hours, he was feeling better.
Yeah, see, there you go.
And then 2 days later, he was released. And they still didn't know what was causing the infection, but it was going away.
Yep.
So, yeah. But he was in so much pain, and he was starting to get in pain when I was there.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, poor thing. And he's such a sweetie.
Aww.
But, we want to try. And man, this better be the last call I get from a hospital.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't think anybody has heard about what has happened to you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you don't want to go into it, I understand.
I don't. I still cry too easy.
Okay. All right, well, that's okay. Hard. Don't worry.
Yeah. But, they say things come in threes, and hopefully I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. Yup. Yeah. It's a bad deal. Yeah. Man, oh man.
Oh, and I went, a friend of mine, I gave her a ride, we went up to the hospital to visit a friend, and on the way back, she wanted to stop by her aunt and uncle's, and her uncle, he does all kinds of stuff for the vets here. And she's into all this, man. We had the greatest talk, and she's getting some zeolite, and she's getting diatomaceous earth, but she knows about all the corruption in the underneath here in the county. So I can't wait to go over and talk to her again. I mean, this woman, she's just, it's such a pleasure to meet someone that, knows even more than you do. And then, you can learn from each other. It was just awesome. And he's just right on top of everything with the VA here.
Cool.
Yeah. And then their nephew has a bikers club that escorts the vets out to the vet cemetery that's in Igo. He does the escorts out there, and it's so neat to meet people that are above board and that are doing the right thing, and really doing things to help the vets here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. I mean, I don't know. I think if they it's so the solutions are so damn simple. If everything was just moved over into like plant-based pharmaceuticals and things of this nature, natural remedies, we can we can heal these vets for a hell of a lot less cost.
Yep.
You know what I mean? On the back end.
And this is the only way we're going to stop the corruption. It's communities. Enough communities get rid of the corruption in your community, then that grows, and the next door neighbor community gets rid of their corruption. After we get rid of all that, we can move up very easily.
Yeah.
And get rid of the higher ups. But you're not going to do it if you can't get your own community under control. How in the hell do you expect to get the crooked president out of office?
That's right. Oh, absolutely. If you can't do it in your own backyard, which is kind of cool because I think I said this on Saturday that a very dear friend of mine is running for treasurer of this township. So,
good.
Yeah, so we're getting him in, and it's cool. She's had donations trickling in for the campaign and everything, and she's made her first goal in terms of donations and stuff. So she's now able to like get signs and postcards and a couple of T-shirts or whatever, and I'm gonna walk in the parade with her in town here and hand out little flyers, you know what I mean?
Good for you.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's good, and we're gonna go door to door and putting these, cards on people's homes,
windshields and whatever.
Yeah, windshields and all that too. Yeah, I didn't even think about windshields.
Oh yeah, going to Walmart parking lot.
Well, we don't have. Thank God, there's no Walmart in this area.
Oh.
So, just all the little businesses and stuff.
We're just a little community here. I mean, it's small, and we have a superstore. And then in the next town in Reading, they have a huge, bigger superstore. And the parking lots are always full. And I wonder to myself, where are these people getting the money? There's no jobs here.
Yeah.
But it's constantly full. I don't know.
It's same with restaurants around Ann Arbor. It's the restaurants are all full.
I know, we have more food restaurants around here, more places to eat than anything else. And and the food they're putting out, no wonder everyone's overweight and unhealthy and
Yesterday I drove past the local Dairy Queen, which is here in town, and there was a line going up the sidewalk.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? Oh man.
I know, all the burger places that I feel literally ill if I get too close to like a McDonald's or anything. The food, it just smells like rotten food to me when I go near them.
There's a place in Ann Arbor. We went to lunch after the movie yesterday, and it's called Elevation Burger, and they serve everything that they serve is organic, and
I love
it's
that.
grass-fed organic beef that they serve, and it is it's expensive, you know what I mean? But holy crap!
What a difference, huh?
The best freaking burger. It's just wonderful. You can get like cheddar cheese. They use like straight up cheddar cheese, and you can get this thick ass organic bacon on there if you want, and then they put caramelized onions on it, and oh my god, it's just super super awesome. And my friend was extremely impressed with
we have the savory spoon here, and it's 100% completely organic. Everything is range fed and made there on the spot. And once a week, every Thursday, they take away the menus with the prices and put out the menus with no prices. And everyone can eat there, and you pay what you can.
Really?
If you have 50 cents, you pay 50 cents. If you have $5, you pay $5.
Oh,
and they do it every Thursday. And this gives the homeless a chance to eat good food to keep up their strength. And these people are so awesome. They say, we want to give back to the community. And they've been doing this for a couple years.
Really? And they still haven't gone out of business?
No, well, their food's a little more expensive, like you said. But people that can afford it go in, and they keep them in business, and and they buy all local, from our health food store, from farmers.
Possible. It's absolutely possible. That's living proof. It's possible for communities to be self-sustaining. We don't need them.
Yeah, they don't buy anything through, the warehouses and all that. They buy from local growers.
Absolutely.
And the beef they get from the local farm where I get mine, ranch where I get mine, they're all range fed. And they say they lose a little bit, but what they lose, they make up in the rewards that they get.
Absolutely. And keeping people healthy is what everybody wants. People want that kind of food.
Right. And it's not, they don't just serve soup. They serve everything that they serve during the rest of the week, except there's no prices on the menu. You can go in and have anything in there.
That's totally wonderful. I think that's wonderful. Like one of the best restaurant stories I've heard.
Yep. And they've been in business for a couple of years now, and they aren't hurting. And they don't raise their prices very often at all. And
well, they're probably going to have to because everything's going to go up. So
yeah, but the people, and when you go in, it's such a neat atmosphere. Everyone's smiling and everyone's talking with each other, and the waitress is so sweet. I mean, you get a good feeling when you're in there. When you leave, you feel awesome.
sure, oh, absolutely. When you've had a real meal,
And with real
your
people.
body knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when I eat crap now, I'm sick. I
get sick. I throw up. I get sick. I'm down for a day or two. That's why, my friends have finally come to terms with it because they would get offended because I wouldn't eat. But then a couple times they seen how sick I would get. And now, like last Thanksgiving, my friend went to the expense of all organic Thanksgiving dinner. That was so kind. And so I went to eat because they know that I can't eat the food. My body's been eating nothing but organic for a few years now, and it really and besides, it's hard to eat. Food smells bad.
Yeah.
Hamburger doesn't smell right. It smells literally like spoiled food whenever you walk into a house anymore.
I had this grass-fed beef when I was still married. We bought into a cow. We bought like a quarter of a cow, and we had all this fantastic
My folks
beef.
used to do that too and keep it in a locker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had all this fantastic beef, and things are kind of getting a little lean, and I've been trying to save this. It's a standing rib roast that I've been saving for a special occasion. But that special occasion never happened, and it's been sitting in the freezer for 5 years, you know what I mean? Totally freezer burned, like you would think that it would be completely unedible. Well, I cooked that sucker up, and I didn't really spice it at all. I just put salt on it, just so that I could taste to see if it was like seriously damaged after 5 years of being in the freezer, and it wasn't. No,
with real meat, without all the junk they put in it, and the antibiotics and all that. I mean, I don't know. I'm afraid to buy meat anywhere other than where I buy it. And the ranch out here that does sell all the range fed and even the chickens, you get nothing but, free range chicken eggs here. They have a butcher shop, and my health food store buys from them, but I usually just go down to the butcher shop, and like their big thing is no GMOs here, no antibiotics or any of that put in our cattle. They're all free range and healthy. And it's so, I feel so fortunate to be able to get, I don't eat meat often, but when I do, I want to make sure that it is good meat.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That roast that I had was fantastic. Still. It was just wonderful. It's definitely a difference between, the real stuff and really,
and you don't have to eat as much. You get
full
quicker.
Yeah, I've been eating on this thing for 3 days now, and I still have 2 more days to be eating on it. It's
right. Because when they go to the store and they're buying all this prepackaged food and stuff, the reason they're so hungry all the time is their body is not getting what it needs. And vitamins isn't going to do all of it. You have to get most of your nutrition from food. Your body needs it. I mean, pills, it's good to have supplements, but you need food more, I think, in my opinion. But
absolutely. Well, you know what? Maybe I should read this article here because it's pretty much got, since we're talking about food, this segues right into that. It's talks about like the different diets and stuff that are out there. Which is, it's good because people need to learn about what these things mean and what people are doing. It's just like an op-ed type article. So, but it seems interesting, so I'm gonna go for it. It says paleo, which is the diet that I should be following, but I'm really not. Because I work out, I have to be on this paleo diet. Well, most of the gym people that I go to the gym, they're on this diet. Okay, it says paleo, vegan, gluten-free. The only certainty about health trends is their reversal. So I'm curious about that headline. It says, during my last visit to Los Angeles, and this is the author saying this, not me, in March, I chronicled my meals by the dietary restrictions of my dining companions. For breakfast one day, I ate in Los Feliz with 4 friends who were varying degrees of gluten-free. One had suddenly discovered a gluten intolerance, while another felt it would be better for her pregnancy. I ordered ricotta pancakes and enjoyed each glutinous bite. Another day, I met my friend Marco for lunch in Venice, where he shunned the artesian toast with house ricotta because he was on the paleo diet. Although no refined grains of any kind, sugar or dairy could enter his body, he regularly ate lamb chops for breakfast. Shit, I'd eat that every day too. Still, he told me as he dug into a piece of fish and a salad, he could now run faster, catch more waves, and make better love. I congratulated him and ordered another lemon poppy seed muffin for the road. During dinner at an Indian restaurant downtown, my friend Christopher, once a die-hard fan of Langer's pastrami, waved away anything with meat in it because he wasn't sure of the chicken vindaloo's provenance and couldn't risk eating something from a factory farm. Do you want me to ask the waiter here where the meat's from? I asked with genuine concern. No, Chris said. He didn't want to be difficult. There are a few cities that can compete with Los Angeles for the sheer energy of its residents its residents pour into health and diet trends. This town is the leader in anxiety over what you should and shouldn't be eating. That's not necessarily a good thing. Having spent the last few years studying evolution of various food trends, it has become clear no food trend is more powerful and potentially dangerous than one that targets health and diet. Health trends are not new. Ever since humans have had enough to eat, we have worried about the right things to eat and devised diets to target various goals, including weight loss, beauty, sexual health, and disease prevention. Bing, 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 bing. There we go.
Yep.
That's the key words. Disease prevention through diet. Period. This guy goes on. Nearly every consumable food and beverage, whether organ meats, tomatoes and grain, liquor, or sugary sodas, have been praised at one point as a panacea. But as much as our knowledge in health and nutrition has evolved, we still know remarkably little about how food affects our bodies. And this injects the whole question of diet with a tremendous dose of anxiety. Although my friend's 91-year-old grandmother in Buenos Aires happily consumes only steak, bread, and potatoes, as she's done for 70 plus years, we in North America are tearing our hair out trying to remember whether it was margarine or butter that would kill us this week. And that's true. People do that crap all the time. When you look at the health trends over the long term, the only certainty is that their inevitable reversal. The fat-free diet of the 80s and 90s is hailed at the time as definitive guide for how we should eat, is now being thoroughly debunked. And my mother, side note, my mother still is stuck in that 80s and 90s fat-free mindset. It's absolutely sick. And you need fat for your brains, people. All right.
Or the carbo-free, no carbs and nothing but meat and cheese. And I tried that one. You do lose a lot of weight, but you get damn unhealthy.
Yeah, that Atkins guy freaking died of a heart attack. that he had at a very early age because he didn't give his body some little bits of sugar. You've got to have something.
Well, yeah, and like my friend, my roommate, she's very thin and she wants to put on weight. Well, they came out now. She brings it into me. There's a pill you can take that will put on weight. And she goes, I want you to read it. She goes, I know some of the things in it, but I want you to check it out for me, please. So I did. And what it does is it slows down your metabolism to way slow, which is very unhealthy.
It is.
So I just told her, forget it. And I go, forget about a pill. You are small bone, you are thin, you're going to be thin to the day you die, just live with it.
Have her start drinking whey protein.
Well, she
Get
did.
Something clean from like One World Whey, you know what I mean?
She did. And she went through a whole big tub of this stuff that was supposed to help her gain weight, but she drinks too, so I don't know.
That's it.
So,
well,
yeah.
That's all she wrote on that one then. Alright, let me keep going.
Okay.
I mean, if you're a drinker, chuck shit out the window, dude, because you're gonna be completely not healthy. Okay. Don't get me wrong, I drink from time to time, but
I know. I don't judge her. She does what she wants. She's
absolutely. Anybody out there who wants to drink, hey, go for it, dude. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Think of all the money and meals you've wasted on fat-free ice cream and bone-dry chicken breast that didn't do you a lick of good. The same goes for our obsession with high-fiber eating, which promised to prevent heart attacks and cancer, but only truly benefited the toilet paper industry. It is this lack of clarity and understanding that makes health and diet trends so dangerous. We all want to feel better and live longer, but with so much conflicting information and noise, we open ourselves up to misinformation. A recent skit on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, God, I hate that guy, in which random Angelinos who were gluten-free diets were asked to define what gluten really was tragicomic. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
Angelinos and tragicomic? This guy is using like freaky terms, man. Alright. It said, in a recent skit on the Jimmy Kimmel show, random people who were on gluten-free diets were asked. They had no idea what gluten-free really was. We had to readily make radical changes to our bodies without really, we're too readily, sorry guys, we are too readily make radical changes to our bodies without really knowing why. With exception of the long-held mantra to eat a balanced diet, steer clear of processed food, and maybe ease up on the donuts, most health and diet trends are little more than a grain of science with a healthy dose of marketing. The term superfoods, branded so readily by everyone, including Dr. Oz and Starbucks, in a word so deceptively meaningless that the European Union has practically banned its use? Well, that's interesting. What? Okay, let me get this right. The European Union has banned the term superfoods. That is freaking insane. I don't know. That's crazy. I wonder if
just the term.
Just the term, apparently. So, because there really are, like, quote-unquote superfoods out there, turmeric and goji and all that. I mean, there's a ton of it out there. So, that's weird, man. That was a weird sentence. Health food trends continue to grow because they're a cash cow. It's estimated that the global antioxidant market will generate nearly $100 billion in a few years, even though most of us have no idea what an antioxidant is and their long-term benefits are far from certain. Well, that sucks. I wouldn't agree with that at all. But what doesn't stop the California Walnut Board, the pomegranate huskers at POM, and assorted vendors of sugar drinks from vitamin water to 7-Up from proudly slapping antioxidant on their packaging ads while subtly pushing from the narrative that it might possibly be the cure for cancer. And that's true, actually. That I do agree with that. On my last night in Los Angeles, my wife and I offered to cook dinner for our friend Josh, whom we were staying with. That would be wonderful, he said, but the meal could have no meat, dairy, eggs, white grain, sugar, or salt. Fish is great, though, he added, as we had another option, there was no dessert. And that is the end of that. So basically it's just like trendy stuff and...
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Anyone who thinks taking a pill is going to make them gain or lose weight is just plain gullible.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing that's going to lose weight is reduce your intake of food and exercise, period.
Right. Yep, that's right. Exercise is probably one of the most important things.
Really, just try walking. I mean, if you don't want to reduce your food intake, don't go walking every day, at least, for an hour, and you'll see a result. You don't even have to go out and exercise hard. Walking will do wonders for you.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Stop falling for the gimmicks. I see so many people that fall for that. Oh, there's this new pill, and like my roommate thought, well, I can take this pill and gain weight. No, that's not going to happen.
No,
you're living in a fantasy world.
Yep, that's right. And there's no pill will ever cure anything. Mm-mm. It's just going to every single pill on the face of the planet that comes from a pharmaceutical company.
It's not good.
It just curbs the symptoms. It doesn't cure anything.
Right. It sustains. It does not cure. It sustains it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It keeps it in place. They don't treat anything. They're just, curving the symptoms. And, it's horrible, man.
Yeah. And then too, it cracks me up because they add calcium to everything on the market, everything you say, plus calcium, plus iron, plus this. And and they even put calcium in antacids, which is really bad for you, really bad. And it's just like, people think they're eating healthy because it says plus calcium or calcium added.
Yeah, that's exactly what that last article pointed out, just because it says antioxidants on 7-Up. I've noticed that, antioxidants on cherry 7-Up, and it's got aspartame in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cherry 7-Up with antioxidants.
But we noticed this weekend, and it was funny because my friends, when we went out on the lake, they went in and bought a 12-pack of Budweiser, and now Budweiser looks like a Pepsi can.
Oh, that's nice.
It's colored like it, and it doesn't look like a beer can at all. And I went, well, I bet the cops love that.
Yeah, the cops love that, and guess who else loves that? Children are gonna love that. Mm-hmm. Let's market it toward children.
Yeah, because a beer can Budweiser at least, does not look like Budweiser anymore. I was just cracking up going, wow, it does look like a soda can, unless you get real close,
Sure.
So.
That's damn well interesting.
Yeah. But.
Well, we've only got 10 more minutes. God, can you believe it?
Wow, this really went by quick. Wow. And I get to go work on my landlady's computer after this. Her email folders have disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. Yeah, so that gives me something to do today. Plus, then she lives up by the hospital, so I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Go by, give Cody his silver, and fix a computer. Do my good deeds for the day.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And go out and work on I'm going to transplant my melons today. I have this little greenhouse and everything. The best way to germinate your seeds? I mean, within 2 days, everything I have tried to germinate is germinated.
Wow.
I get a plain white paper towel and I get it wet. Then I pat it, so it don't drip. And then I put 4 of my seeds and then I fold it in half and I put it in a baggie and seal it up and put it on my water heater. And within 2 to 3 days, I have long roots and ready to plant. Everything.
Right on.
Everything that I have done that way, within 3 days, I have long roots enough to plant. So people try it. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Faster than any other process I've ever tried. And just make sure you use the plain white paper towels, not, the printed ones. But yeah, I was shocked. I just went, wow, all right, and now my greenhouse is full of all these starts that are just, I gotta go transplant them, and even sunflower seeds sprouted.
Hey, that's cool too. Wow. Mm-hmm. Aren't those like late sprouters usually?
Yeah,
sunflower seeds?
Yeah, and they're hard. They take, a long time. Yeah. And to keep it wet outside that long without it drying out is hard. But I just put them on top of my water heater, and boom, within 3 days I had a long enough root to go out and plant them in the garden.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a little note for people.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. Well,
okay, well, what's coming up later, or is it too early to do that?
Yeah, a little too early to do that.
Okay, another thing then.
Sure.
I'm learning all these neat things, but this guy, I'm gonna try it. I already have my sweet potatoes out there in their water, and they're getting lots of roots, and there's, got the leaves growing up. But he planted 3 sweet potatoes in sawdust and sand.
Oh, yeah?
He made a box in sawdust and sand, and he got 139 pounds of sweet potatoes.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just put, you can go to YouTube and he'll show you it was awesome. So I'm gonna try that. I have to make my little box. But yeah, I'm gonna go for it because that is an outrageous crop.
That's fantastic. That'll get somebody through the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 139 pounds. And yeah, I just planted them in this, and I already have my sand. I have to get my sawdust. And I want to make sure, I was going to go to the mill, but they put glue in a lot of the wood and stuff, so I don't want to get it there, so I got to figure out where I can go get my sawdust.
Glue and sawdust? What the hell is that for?
Well, no, where they take, like when they make particle board.
Yeah.
Well, they use glue to put all those chips and stuff to make the plywood, and so they do use glue in a lot of the processing in the lumber. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah, if you get a 3/4 inch plywood, a lot of times it's layered. So,
right.
And I don't want glue in my garden, so I gotta investigate where to go get it. I'm sure the nursery will know.
Organic sawdust, huh? Damn.
Yeah. Well, if we still had mills around here, if the Spotted Owl hadn't closed down all the mills, I could just go to a mill and get some.
Yeah.
Before they put the glue, but anyway, I'll find it. But I'm gonna try that too.
Wow, so. That's good deal. That's cool. What's the name of that video?
Oh, just put in growing sweet potatoes and you'll see it. It'll say 139 pounds of sweet potatoes from 3 potatoes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow, that's talk about like tripling your investment there.
Oh, way. So,
that's awesome.
And starting them from other sweet potatoes. Usually it's hard to get, a good crop from ones that you bought instead of, the seeds and stuff, but yeah, it was an awesome crop. He just kept pulling them up and pulling them up. He didn't even expect that many.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's entirely fantastic.
Yeah, and sweet potatoes have a lot of vitamins in them for you. They're just plain good.
I love them. I love them. I have these Oriental sweet potatoes that I get, and they're organic, and they're white in the middle instead of bright orange.
Yeah, that's the kind I've been getting lately.
Oh my God, they are and they're sweet, and they're just.
I like to fry them up.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, you don't even need like any salt on them barely, just
a little butter for baked ones.
Yeah, that's it. It's all you even need on these. They're so darn good. They're the best potatoes. A friend of mine told me we had dinner like last week, and she doesn't like sweet potatoes, but I handed her a bowl with these sweet potatoes in them, And she didn't know the difference. I'm like, dude, you were just eating sweet potatoes. She's like, really?
Yeah. You know, I never liked candy jams or nothing, so all my life I stayed away from them because I didn't like them. Then my friend baked a sweet potato with just a little butter on it, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
It's so good for you, too.
I think I started eating like a sweet potato chip.
Yeah, I like frying my own. But then too, I'm gonna try it. It doesn't sound good to me, but people keep telling me it's good. It's sweet potato pie.
Yeah, I had that. I did have that, and my best friend made one, and her pies are awesome all the time. So, I like practically everything she makes. So, and then I tried another sweet potato pie, and it wasn't that great.
I guess it's according to who's making it. Another thing, my friend's bringing me a big bag of persimmons again. And you know, with 1 cup of persimmons, you can make 5 loaves of persimmon bread. And you know what? It doesn't taste like persimmons. It is so good. It's amazing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm learning all kinds of tricks. All these people, since they all found out that I'm getting into cooking now and canning, they're all giving me all these neat ideas and things to do. I love it.
Right on. That's the only way to go, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's that time, I guess.
Yep.
You're listening.
Made it through a Monday.
Made it through a Monday, and this is UCY.TV, and if you keep tuning in at 1 o'clock, we've got The Edge with John Stokes, and at 3 is the Jack Blood Show. And then at 8 o'clock, it's Monday night, guys. We've got Boiler Room with Jim, Funky, and Lance. Yay, Jimmy. We love Jimmy. And then after that at 9 o'clock, right after Jimmy's show, is Truth on the Tracks with Brandon Turveville. And then at 11 o'clock is Anti-Media Radio with Nick Burnaby. So stay tuned, you guys, for some awesome programming today. And I know Jules has some new stuff loaded for like Bill Cooper's, so those should be relatively new for, you know, in between the live shows, and those are always great. So, and remember to check out the sponsors on the UCY page, and you know.
And if you have a couple extra bucks at the end of the month, it would sure go a long ways to help us out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Jules does all this, and you know, nobody gets paid anything, and she does it out of the kindness of her heart and all of her hard work. So let's support him. Let's support her and support the network, and love everybody in chat room. And
yep. I mean, if I can afford $5 a month, I think most of us can go without a Starbucks coffee or something.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. Have a great day, guys. Love you all.
Yep, love ya. Happy Monday.
Bye-bye.
See you all tomorrow.